What is going on, everyone? Black Smoke Customs. Gosh, it's been a minute. I guess it's been 2 or 3 months since we've done a video, but if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook, you know that I have been turning my work truck into something a little nicer. We lifted it. It's got 8 inches of lift with 37s. Done a paint correction set up on it, polished it out the best we could. Of course, the truck is almost 20 years old, and it's hard to get the factory paint code to match to an older truck. But we will be doing some videos maybe on the second gen when I get time to kind of do some cool videos for the channel. But we are back in the shop. My paint booth broke about 2 months ago, and I finally got it back up and going this week. Got the fan back on it, so I couldn't paint without the fan going on it. So we are back in business. The toy room is cleaned halfway, still a mess, but it's cleaner. But we have got a project, I'll take off the tripod, of these cabs, and here's the hoods, fenders, and all that. So I'm going to go through real quick. Of course, the cabs and the fenders, the hoods, and the rooftops have all been pre-painted. So I was going to kind of show you how I detail my castings. It's something that takes practice. I'm still not the greatest, but if you just take your time and do a slow, easy job, you will get decent results. So what I use, as you can see here, I've got some cardboard out that I've been pulling off of, detailing the rest of them. I left one set off of the 6 so I could kind of go through and show y'all how I do it. So we're gonna go through real quick and detail all the little parts and pieces that needs to be detailed on the castings. So we're gonna start off. The truck, none of this stuff has been cleared. It's a metallic green. It's kind of off of a 69 Camaro. That is what the customer wanted, and so that's what we're giving him. I was kind of given a little bit of a free range on how to detail the castings, so we're gonna go through and try to detail these on camera. If I mess up, I'm gonna go back and reshoot, touch it up. But I've got my factory color here that I had mixed, and I'm gonna do the Peterbilt emblems in this green because the fenders will be green, the roof caps will be green. I didn't want to go back with a red, so we're going to go through and do the right and left side and get that done. Like I said, using a toothpick, and all I'm going to do is dip my toothpick in and get a little green on it. Now let me get situated here. So what I like to do is, doing this stuff is kind of like welding. You have to be comfortable. So I'm not going to pay attention to camera. I've got to pay attention to this. So what you do is you come in here, you've got to get comfortable. That's the main thing. And you got to know how you're going to roll your toothpick to do it. So I'm going to blunt the end of this off some. I didn't like the real sharp point, so I kind of pushed it down a little bit. And all we're going to do, and I've got my fingers resting on my thumb, and that's why I've got this set here. And you're just going to take it and just be very careful and outline the Peterbilt emblem. And I'm going to turn it around and kind of just push on it, and it'll push that paint on that emblem. And I'm just barely am touching that. And as you can see, I mean, it's not perfect. It's hard to do these little things, but you know, you just got to take your time. And you know, in pictures, looks fine. You know, I'm not DCP. I can't replicate exactly these emblems. I'm gonna call that one good. I mean, it's kind of just barely, you know. You just gotta work it. And just be careful. Now, I did get a new toothpick just because I wanted to get this little corner here. So that's that. Okay, I'm gonna put this one up because it's wet, and we're gonna get one I've already done. Let me set that in there for just a second. We are done with the green, so I'm putting the green lid on and getting it out of the way. The only time I use model car paint is doing this right here. I'm not a big model car paint person, so I only use it when I have to. Cool little thing to get. I've got the cover off of it, but this is a little mixing thing, and the end of it spins, and it's really good when your paint's kind of gummed up like this. You can get them off of eBay for like couple bucks. They're not expensive, but when your paint starts gumming up, it gets like gooey and it has strings on it. And I know I'm not the only one that sees that in model car paint. See how gooey that is? All I was doing is cleaning it off. Now, we're going to take another toothpick and we're going to do the latches. And I'm just getting a little bit of paint on there. Again, you have to be comfortable when you're doing this. See, I'm putting my finger in behind this right here. Actually, I'm going to put my fingers together because that's going to control how I apply this. There's your latch. Flip it around, do the other side. I'm putting my finger underneath the hood. And I'm gonna rest my middle finger on it and kind of just start working it down. Now see, now I'm putting both. I mean, you just got to kind of get where you feel comfortable, where you can move and not be straining to move either a paintbrush or even airbrushing. I mean, I try to get comfortable airbrushing because airbrushing is in your fingers of how you control. I'm trying to watch the camera and do all this. And there's your latch. Now you can take a Sharpie, I guess, and do it, but I'm not a fan of Sharpies. Which I guess you can. I ain't gonna say you can't. Alright. Now I don't throw my toothpicks away. I usually keep them. And reuse them. Now we're gonna do the silver to do the which one has not been done? Hasn't been done. Oh, there it is. There again, you have to be comfortable when you're doing this. Because if you're not comfortable, you're gonna make a mistake. Alright, we're just gonna pop out of this lid here. There's one door handle. And you know, you can go back and watch. Like I said, I'm no professional by no means, but if you go back and watch the video, you can see how I'm placing my fingers, because while I'm talking, I'm trying to show you, and then it's not comfortable, so I have to reposition. So I'm not gonna really tell you to where I'm gonna place stuff. You can go back and watch how I've position my fingers and how it's all like on my wrist and stuff. This is all very light work. I mean, you just barely putting any paint on. There's that side. Now in pictures, when a truck's built, and like I said, I won't build these, they'll be sent out, but in pictures they're going to be fine. Now the Monochrome pens, I've always had bad luck with them. That's why I don't use them. I'm not a fan of them. That's why I don't use them. And you can see I'm not putting a lot of paint on the end of this toothpick. I'm just barely getting the tip wet. And the thing is, if you go back after you've done it, you got to make sure your toothpick has paint on it, because if you don't, you're going to pull the paint right back off of what you just did. So then you got to let it cure for a little bit, set up, and redo it, because if you don't, you'll start pulling paint off. Now we're going to do the cab lights on one that's already been done. I was going to use orange or white, but I think the white would not, I don't think it would work too well with the silver. So we're going to go with the orange cab lights. And make sure when you use this little thing, make sure you clean it off as quick as you can, because this enamel paint will sure enough set up and dry out on the tip, and it's a pain to get it off. There again, new toothpick, and all we're going to do is, when I do it, I try to go down and pick up. That way it makes kind of a bump on it, and it makes more like a lens. And like I said, I'm not loading this brush or this toothpick up much. Just enough what I feel is sufficient enough to do what I want. And that one, I had a little bit much on that one. That's why I've done a few on this one. And I'm gonna call that good. If you get too carried away, then you start making a mess. But yeah, that is gonna do it for this video. Like I said, I've got decals I gotta put on these, on the cabs, before I clear everything. I still gotta get everything made up and go from there. So until next time, I will catch y'all later.